Hi, I've got an idea how to stop tornadoes. I know this is a serious matter and I shouldn't say something that I can't prove, but I think I can prove this. I think we can prove my idea without doing anything but looking at statistics. I say there exists a way of looking at the data that you have in your memory banks of all the storms that have produced tornadoes. There's a history. How many lightning strikes before, during, and after a tornado? If you look at your data, you'll see a marker. You'll see a sign that a tornado is about to start, a tornado exists, and now a tornado has stopped. This is all triggered by lightning. See, the main difference between my point of view and standard scientists is I think the electrical aspect of a supercell is very important. I say it is the dynamo of the storm. I say we can short it out. We can use rockets, trailing wires. We can use satellites with lasers. We could drop chaff like they had in World War II, pieces of aluminum foil. All we have to do is increase the conductivity between the storm and ground. The lightning wants to come out. It wants to come out. It can't. There's some barrier. Whenever rotation in a storm begins, this lightning effect begins. The rotation is all electrical. Take out the electricity, the storm no longer exists. That's all I'm saying. Look at your data. Look at your data on the history of storms and prove me wrong or right. If there is a marker, if we can say, oh look, there is evidence that every time there is a tornado there's a significant drop in lightning. I don't say no lightning anywhere. I'm saying near the tornado, usually during its lifetime, there's very little lightning. Now if that's the truth, then all we have to do is increase the lightning and maybe the tornado doesn't exist. If we don't try this, we'll never know. That's all my point of view is. Let's see what effect of shorting a storm out has on tornadoes. This isn't radical. This isn't scary. This isn't weird. What if I'm right? What if we can downgrade a storm by increasing the conductivity from the supercell to ground? Or even between the upper level of the supercell and the mid-level of the supercell and the bottom level of the supercell. We could short it out throughout. I can tell you this, the most important part of a storm to short out will be the top. The top most energized level is what's causing everything below it. And you can short out below, but if you don't get the top, you haven't killed the storm. If you get the top, you total discharge of the top ring. The storm will cease to exist immediately and no longer ever produce a tornado. That's all I'm saying. If you don't try what I say or listen to these kind of ideas, we'll have nothing but run away and hide the rest of our eternity. But even if that does turn out to be the case, knowing there's a marker, if there is a marker in lightning and storms that produce tornadoes, there's a marker, this could help with our forecasting. Because I've seen this. I've sat down and watched live storms attack Kentucky. And minutes before the National Weather Service issued a bulletin for this one town in particular that I was studying with my son, we watched the lightning stop. The storm continued. No lightning, then a tornado. Minutes, 4 or 5 minutes before the National Weather Service issued a tornado warning, I knew a tornado warning should be issued. 4 or 5 minutes ahead of them. So even if that's the case, that we just get a better forecasting, look at the data. Electricity in a storm is not just a byproduct. It is the monster that's killing people. You can take it out of the skies. You can affect the level of electricity in the sky. The effects we can debate. We can predict all we want. But what counts is people launching rockets, doing things to cause lightning to come out of storms. Now, if anybody out there is smart enough to take on this challenge of proving me right or wrong, call me, talk to me, leave a message on my Gmail account, because I want to hear from you, especially if you've lowered the value of a storm, if you've seen it in action, if you know for certain I'm right because you saw the lightning stop and then the tornado drop. If you saw this, you detected it in the data, or you tried my ideas, please contact me. I'd be glad to talk to you about it, or I'd be glad to hear your results. Thank you.